Hello again. So I just came back from my trip from Israel, and it was an incredible trip, and all refreshed and ready to talk about next subject related to um, Moshiach and drawing down basically the Moshiach, which would be your true purpose in this world, your infinite self, your true inner will that's connected to the collective consciousness, which is basically connecting to Mashiach into you through the breath. So first I'd like to talk a little bit about what's so magical about the breath. And what is it about the breath that allows it becomes a conduit, to draw down Mashiach into you? Well, in the Torah or in the Bible, we talk about how God introduced a soul into Adam. And it says that God blew a vivifying soul into Adam. And so the word neshama means soul and neshima means breath. And they have the same letters. There's just a difference in the vowel. So we can see that there's a direct correlation between Hashem introducing himself into you through the breath. So what is it that we do from the moment that we're born and the moment to the moment that we pass away into the next existence? We breathe. So the breath is a constant. And so in our breath, there are patterns of our being that create who we are, believe it or not. So the way you breathe is basically feeding you, your in your soul, your ways of being, your consciousness, your awareness of things, your habits, your genetics. So to change that, you have to become more aware of your breath. And that, so going back a step, I want to talk about a little bit about, how we develop different patterns of breath as we're growing up, our pattern changes. When you're born, if you ever looked at a child when they're born, I'm trying to focus on the camera, but apparently it's not allowing me to really focus on what I want to give over. So I'm just going to look at myself as if I'm talking to you. So when you're born, you have a very peaceful breathing pattern. And if you've ever looked at a baby when they're breathing, it's very relaxing. It's very soothing. And there's a reason for that. And that is because she is free of any traumas. She hasn't entered in, or he or she has not entered into their life journey yet. And their breathing is free and clear. And notice that it's an abdominal breath. They're breathing through their tummy. As they get older and they go through some kind of trauma, your breath pattern changes. We go through what they call a fight and flight response. And your breathing pattern changes, your vital signs are elevated. But here's the thing, even when you recover, your breathing pattern may recover, but not 100% to what it was before. There is a slight change in the way you're breathing now, carrying that experience with you. So then when you meet up with the next experience, you're basically meeting up with that experience with something from residue of the past. And so you're not judging the experience for what it is, but you're compounded by a residue from the past. So we need to learn how to let go of those traumas and go back to the natural breathing pattern so that we can judge things for what they are. And not only that, free ourselves from that so that we can really tune into who we truly are and what we truly want, and not regurgitating the past over and over again, which we tend to do, which I call gullus, exile, being outside our true will, being outside our true self, and being unified with God's true will and oneness. So, going back now to the idea of the breath, um, just in talking about it, through the anatomy and the physiology and the physics behind it, simply when you inhale, you're increasing the oxygenation into your blood. And oxygen brings about more alertness and awareness. It relaxes you. So even on a very down to earth understanding of what the breath does, the first thing that we do when a patient comes to the hospital and they're in any kind of trauma, we give them oxygen. So understand that when you're going through a trauma, the first thing that you want to do is become aware of your breath and start breathing. When a woman is giving birth, she's told to breathe. When a person is like after something they've gone through, say, okay, just take a deep breath now. Okay, it's over, So I'm resuming back to myself, okay? Now, when you exhale, you're getting rid of carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide, most people don't realize, is getting rid of your toxins. And what's so powerful about that is that they've found out that scientifically, that negative emotions are attached to your toxins in the blood. So when you exhale properly, you get rid of those negative emotions that are holding on to you, that for some reason you're in a bad mood, you don't understand why, but you're retaining something that happened a day ago or this morning, and you haven't consciously released it yet. And the way we consciously release things is through our breath. So now you have an understanding of the inhale and the exhale a bit. Now I'm going to talk about what we do in an exercise, is that we pause in between inhale and exhale. And that is a very powerful thing that we usually don't do, right? What's happening in between the inhalation and the exhalation is called what I call bittul, which means I'm letting go of all thoughts. I'm surrendering everything, all my judgments of everything that happened, and I'm allowing something new to enter into me. I'm allowing a new consciousness. I'm allowing the higher light, the light of Moshiach, to enter into me. And that's very critical, because what happens is, you can ask yourself, how come I'm not getting it? We were told many times the world has changed. Many leaders around the world have told us that there's a big change in the world. The Lubavitcher Rebbe told us that the Mashiach is here. So I'm not quite getting it. I don't understand. I don't feel it in me. I don't see it in the world. There are a lot of changes, but we're not, that's a judgment call on your part to see it or not see it. But how about in yourself? Because as they say, you cannot see the world. The way you see the world around you is the way you view things within yourself. It's almost like I can only love another person outside depending on how much I'm able to love myself and accept myself. So too, in order to be able to see Mashiach outside in the world and to have eyes that see Mashiach, you have to kind of develop that vision within yourself and see it within your own Dalet Amos, which is basically your own, parameters of existence and time and space. Okay, so I developed a breathing pattern that is correlating many different things that I've learned. That I've had the pleasure of learning. I've talked about before in my last video about the art of living. I've learned about theta healing, and I correlated different, listened to Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton and read different books and articles, and I was able to kind of connect all the studying I've done in Hasidus with all of these disciplines. And so that is what I'm going to be introducing into my website, a breathing method, meditation that is able to help you draw in Mashiach literally into your being through the four letters of Hashem's name, the Yud K Vav K. And the significance of that is that my husband Eric today told me that he studied that and this is something that came a while ago to me to draw the breath through the Yud K Vav K. But what was amazing to me to hear today was that Yud He Vav He has 12 different combinations, and those 12 combinations of how you could put Hashem's name, God's name together, is connected and parallel to the 12 combinations of time and space. And why is that so exciting to me is because as we experience the world around us, of time and space, we're basically living in a limited edition of what we know. Whether it, when I say what we know, it's whether it be our DNA, our surroundings, our ancestry, all those things are formulating from moment to moment, time and space for me. Now, to draw in a new light, a new level of existence and consciousness into my being, I need to press the pause button. And to press the pause button comes through your breath, consciously through your breath. And that is what I'm going to be introducing into the website. Now, let's talk about a little bit about, what's in this week's portion that talks about, in this month, what's so special about this month, which was not really in the topic of discussion here. The month of Adar. We're in the Hebrew month of Adar. And Adar is Aleph Dar. The Aleph represents God, the master, the Alufo, the master of the universe. And Dar is like coming from the word Dira, which is basically dwelling place. So we want to draw the Aleph into our dwelling. And again, this is the same idea as I want to draw down Moshiach to dwell within the parameters of my time and space. Now, this is from a moment-to-moment thing. Taking a step back to explain what I mean by that. A lot of times when I would study and I would hear about how we are limited beings and how Hashem's unlimited light has to enter into the limited world. So in my mind, I was like thinking of it as being something in the future, in the times of Moshiach, that only then and that unlimited light will be able to enter into the world. But what I understood in actuality is that it's from moment to moment. This is happening moment to moment. You are, and you're breathing from moment to moment. So if you're used to reacting and responding in a certain way to situations, you're living within the nature and the boundaries of your consciousness. But if you want to introduce something new, a higher light, a higher awareness, a better way of responding to the world that can enlighten you and bring you to a better place, then you kind of need to pay attention to your breath once again and be able to take a pause, take a step back, and become an observer. And becoming an observer is a very powerful thing because you're no longer reacting to situations. You're now you're active, you're kind of becoming like the divine who's watching things and allowing yourself to see the bigger picture. And in that breath, there's a wider scope of the picture, and you're able now to bring the higher light, the dwelling of the infinite, an infinite interpretation of things into the finite experience that you're in, and kind of take the experience and expand it and bring it to a better place and redeem it. That's one idea that I wanted to bring out. The other thing I wanted to bring out was he mentioned how we had to build the Mishkan. The Mishkan was a temporary dwelling that God dwelled in the desert, and Moshe had built the Mishkan, but we had to build it and dismantle it several times and Hashem commanded us, God commanded us, and not to dwell in it until we did several rounds. And the question is why? We ask Hashem, when will you come and dwell with us? When will we have our dream come to fruition? When will my infinite will come into being? I have a wish, I have a dream that makes me feel completely connected and one with who I truly am. When is that going to come into fruition? I wished it, I pondered on it, and it's still not happening. So to me, that's the same expression of saying, God, when are you going to come and dwell into the Mishkan permanently? When are you going to finally, dwell in me so that I can be my true 100% self? And the answer is in the right time. In the right time, and each person is different. You will definitely get what is burning inside your soul that you want to do, whatever it may be. When you have this burning desire that is in you, that you want it to come to fruition, it will come, but it will come in the right time, because you want it to be fully developed before it comes into existence. Because if you allow it to be, if you allow God, so to speak, to dwell into the dwelling before you're ripe and you're ready, it will be missing components that would allow you to enjoy the experience. And Moshiach is all about enjoying the experience. It's about filling your mouth with laughter. It's about really enjoying your being in this world. So you don't want to dwell in anything before it's mature, before it's ready. Okay? So the 7 days of erecting the Mishkan and dismantling it is parallel to the 7 attributes of the soul. And so there are different levels of will that are reflected out in the world that present themselves to you. And so when an opportunity arises and it doesn't seem to stick, or it seems to be a temporary thought or whatever, a fleeting thought, it's because it's not the whole product yet. The whole product is when all of your attributes have combined in themselves to come into the oneness of Hashem's being. And that's when Hashem is dwelling, when he's in his oneness. So if there's only a part, just a reflection, a fragment of your soul reflecting out there, some kind of opportunity, it's not taking full expression. It's because, and Hashem is not completely dwelling in there permanently. It's because it's not ripe yet. The idea is not ripe. Now you might say to yourself, well, let's skip over those things, and I just want to get to the real thing. Well, guess what? All the preparations beforehand have to be given 100% attention. You've got to completely immerse yourself into each step along the way that's being presented to you, because how you invest your time and your efforts and energy into those preparatory steps along the way is how you're going to be able to enjoy your olam haba, your portion in the world to come. Okay? Which is Hashem dwelling permanently in the dwelling. So you want to take that all into consideration. In any case, that's basically what I wanted to share with you. And again, I haven't developed my website yet. I have a lot going on, and God is willing, when I do, I will let you know when it's available. Shalom for now, and I give everyone blessings. Tonight is Erev Tet Adar, which is the evening going into the 9th of Adar, which is my birthday. And you have the power to bless on your birthday. Your mazel is gover. Your luck is very strong. Your luck being your internal will, the source of your soul that is above, that is meant to come and give birth into you. I give blessings to everyone for added strength to draw down their mazal into them, and that it should come in a very easy, pleasant way, in ways that you can dance and laugh through it and enjoy it. Peace and blessings. Bye for now.